good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the squad in the building.
Yeah.
Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. As always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer. We got super producer Joel Hope back and looking tan from Hawaii, man.
Stop it, Pat.
Nice little tan on this guy. Look at this guy.
I didn't change that much.
Is that Hawaiian Holt back there? Is that Hawaiian Holt? Not bad, brother.
Already started off there. Thanks a lot.
Of course, we got Jordan JC, host of the Chicago Bears Breeze, in the back, and the man formerly known as Ringo J, Stefan Nadon in the building. And we also have to welcome in a special guest to the show to break down the Bears, somebody who has been a head scout at the Chicago Bears, player, director, leader, 9 years. Y'all know his name, host of Greg Gabriel Talks Football. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Greg Gabriel to the show.
Let's go. Show some love.
You gotta let him in. There we go.
Hey,
Greg, what's going on?
I'm doing wonderful. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Excited to talk some football. As you can see there, look at Greg. Greg looking phenomenal. Big sweater game back in the day for that interview there, Greg. It was a good look for you, man.
I always wear sweaters this time of year.
Hey, it's cold.
And I think if that's the interview, I think that was this time of the year.
Let's jump straight into it, Greg. First off, appreciate having you on the show as always. And let's start it off here because we want to really talk about some of the defensive line names that can change the Chicago Bears' future. They've got a couple of nice pickups that they made last year with Montez Sweat. Of course, in the draft, they go Javon Dexter, Zach Pickens. Is there a name on this defensive line right now that is standing out to you that can have day one impact for this Bears team?
You mean in the draft or free agency? Or
in the draft right now.
Well, I love Latu. I've liked him all year. Liked him last year. And when you look at the edge class this year, except for Latu, none of them got off to real quick starts. So I think that was disappointing because there's a lot of talent there. But almost across the board, their second half of the season was really good. And you fast forward to today, and some guys really had some outstanding workouts. Dallas Turner from Alabama did not work out. So we got to wait a few weeks till the Alabama Pro Day for that one. But I think there's a lot of talent there. And given the value of the position, they're going to probably go a lot higher than where a lot of the analysts have them pegged to go right now. And I'm not one of these guys that believe that your stock jumps at the combine. Your grade stays pretty much the same. What you did in the fall is what you did in the fall, and you're not going to. But you, at the same time, you want to know exactly what the numbers are. Yes. The only guy that jumped out that I think ran a little faster than I thought he would was Chop Robinson, who I've loved all along. I think his upside is just tremendous. But he, cracks a 4.48 at 250 pounds. That dude has got unbelievable upside. Very explosive player. Latu, the thing, the worry with Latu wasn't his play. It was, does he pass the medical? Because, you go back to 2020, he hurts his neck, he has a surgery. And for months, I tried to find out exactly what that surgery was. They just said he had neck surgery, and the doctors at the University of Washington advised him not to play football again. Well, he takes off a year, and then he goes down to UCLA and plays there and puts two really strong back-to-back seasons in 22-23. Well, today, if you watch the Edge guys workout, Stacey Dales from the NFL Network said it was a fusion surgery. Well, right away, I'm like, yay. I mean, that is not a big deal unless it's the surgery didn't go well. Right. But given the fact that he's played 2 years without incident and never missed any practice time the last 2 years, I don't see it as a big deal, only because of my experience going through the combine and similar injuries. Now, obviously, we don't know what the MRI said, and that's going to say a lot. But I know how the doctors think to that stuff, and they put a lot of stock in what's he done lately. In other words, if he had played or had the surgery a year ago and hadn't played since, that would be a big concern. But he's played the last 2 years.
Right.
And so it's like, he's good. But again, we're never going to know the exact answer. Not going to shock me. Probably within the next couple of days, you'll see some blurb out there, some leak that Late 2's medical was fine. And that's because at least one team leaked to his agent that he passed their medical. But medical grades are just like scouting grades. They vary from team to team. So what the Bears have, we'll never know that. The only way we're going to know if he's okay is if they draft him.
I think Ringo wanted to set
up a little bit. If they brought him in on a 30 visit, he passed also.
Oh yeah, definitely breaking that down. Ringo, what you got for him?
Yeah, so my question is, because the Bears do have the number 1 pick and they also have the number 9 pick. And my question is with Latu, now with the two with him injuring the neck and him playing the 2 seasons, could he possibly be an option as a steal for the Bears at 9, or how do you see that playing out? And how does he help this defensive line that the Bears already have in place with Montez Sweat adding to it?
Well, when you listen to the pressers, both Flus and more Flus than Poles, he's put a premium, like first thing out of Flus's mouth, got to get another edge opposite Sweat. So to me, it's a big position. So that means they're going to fill it one of 2 ways. They're either going to sign somebody 2 weeks from now in free agency, or they're going to draft, or both. The only question I have on the free agency thing is, there's Danielle Hunter's name's been tied to the Bears by people in the media, but he's going to cost what Sweat cost. Right. So he's going to be a 23, 24, $25 million player. And do the Bears, they got the money, that's not a problem. It's, do the Bears want to tie up that kind of money at one position? Because you can get in trouble that way. And the other thing is, he's going to be 30 years old, and I think beginning of October into September. That would be the oldest guy that Poles gave a multi-year contract to. But you look at him medically, excuse me, he missed time, I think, in 21, but it was a soft tissue injury. Otherwise, he's been healthy. He's never had a knee or shoulder. So I think it's a possibility. The guy that I really like that's going to cost half or less than half is Jonathan Grenard from Houston Texans. He had a real strong season last year, 12.5 sacks. Somebody said, well, they might tag him. I said, they're never going to tag him. He made $1.8 million last year. If they tag him, it's over $20 million. They aren't doing that. So, he hasn't earned $20 million yet. So,
right.
But I think that would be a really good signing. It'll just be interesting. There's a lot of fans that are connecting, AJ Epinesa from the Bills because of the
Trey Edmonds.
Yeah, because of Washington's coach. But I'm from Buffalo. I'm a Bills fan. I watch every one of their games. AJ Epinesa is a quality backup. He is not a starter. So you want to sign him, go ahead. He started in 4 years. He started 4 games.
I wanted to ask you quick.
Do
you feel that Chop Robinson, does he project as a linebacker to you, or does he actually project as a defensive end at 6'3", 250? Is that one of those?
He's defensive end. That's what he played at. He might drop 3 or 4 times a game at Penn State, but so did Will Anderson last year at Alabama. He's a pass rusher. He's just been 3 years in college. He's still a little raw, but when you look at the upside, the explosiveness, he's going to get bigger. He's probably going to, end up being a 260. Which is nothing wrong with that. Hell, when we drafted Alex Brown, he was 248 pounds, and he never played it bigger than 260 in his career. So it's more about, especially in that defense, and I mentioned Alex because it's the same defense, it's been able to get upfield and put pressure on the quarterback, and that's what these guys do.
Yeah. It's really been, it's interesting to see this defense come back, because now we get to see so many of the weapons that you were able to evaluate your insight actually applies to, right? I mean, like seeing these guys, you become the wealth of knowledge, because now the Bears actually are running that same 4-3, 42 nickel style defense. Is there somebody out there that the Bears have, or somebody you've seen in the draft that you feel like can replicate what that defensive line that you were able to put together when you were here with the Bears was?
Well, I think, they did a great job last year with the draft between Dexter and Pickens. And I think, Dexter comes in, he played in a 2-gap scheme at Florida. So we had to learn how to play within a 1-gap attack scheme.
Right.
Had to, go through the baby steps and the growing pains. But I think he's got great upside. He's athletic. The game's important to him. I know the coaching staff really likes him. Pickens is ultra athletic. And so, and you've got Billings already. I would not be surprised if they bring back Jones. I think Jones earned another contract.
Justin Jones.
Yes.
So
really?
So you like the defensive line that we have in place?
The interior, yeah. I think they got to upgrade the outside. I think the inside's fine.
My question for you was, I'm looking at, we see like Johnny or Jerzon Newton, for example. Like when you were scouting for especially for the previous defense, the Lovey defense,
right? When
you guys drafted Tommy, was it kind of a no-brainer with Tommy? Did you also see, are there any traits in that 3 technique? Do you think that Dexter possesses those type of techniques, traits to be that 3 technique for this defense?
Well, it's a good question. And I go back. I met Ryan Poles at the East-West game last year because I'm on the board of advisors for the East-West. So we had a nice conversation, and I asked him, I said, is your profile for defensive line the same as ours was? And he said, yeah, it's pretty much identical, but really it isn't. They want bigger guys. Our interior defensive line was small. Tommy Harris is 285 pounds.
Right.
Okay.
Like 6'2" or 6'1"?
He's 6'2" and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. But he also ran a 4.68. There's been a guy run like Tommy in a long time.
A follow-up question: that was your that profile the same as Tampa Bay as well? Did you adopt that same one?
Yeah, I mean, because Lovey came from right. Tony Dungy, but it was. See, we drafted Tommy in 2004. The year before, Greg Blotch was the D coordinator under Dick Geron. We had an entirely different scheme. We had it was a 4-man front, but was really run like a 3-man, a 3-4 scheme. There were 2-gappers, and we had a bunch of monsters there. I mean,
the big jumbos.
Three out of the 4 guys were well over 2 of them were well over 350. So, Daniels was a defensive end at about 320, and then you had Ted Washington and Keith Traylor. I mean, we had some big guys. So, Lovey comes in, and it's like the only guy we could keep was Alex. He was the only guy that was a fit. And Alex was a rookie that year, 2003. So we had to go out and get brand new people. And we did that over, we drafted Tommy and Tank that first year. And then we, did some guys in free agency and some trades with Agunlie and some of those other guys. So, you had to find the pieces to do it. But you're pretty much looking for the same type of guys. You got to find athletic, disruptive guys. And the outside guys got to be able to get upfield, put pressure on the passer. And the inside guys, they're playing a 1-gap scheme. They got to be able to get penetration and be very, very disruptive in the run game.
So I guess one of my comments would be in terms of drafting the defensive ends, because, I remember that defense. I grew up watching that defense. And I know, like you said, you signed a Goonlier, and I remember signing Julius Peppers at one point in time. And
yeah, that was a little bit later when we got.
I remember like Mark Anderson worked out for like a year.
Well, Mark was like a 5th round pick, and then he had a bad knee to begin with.
Okay, yeah.
So sooner or later, it's going to catch up. But he really had a few good years.
But in this draft, in this round, do you think that there is capable like a starting defensive end? Because like my position is like I'd love us to get the haul to get enough picks where if we can get one extra starter out of this draft, like we definitely need to hit on whatever we do with the first pick, and then we got this 9th pick. We got to get. I feel like we got to get a center. But if maybe we get another defensive player to stack and add to this defense, you think that there's a defensive end in here that really is that guy? You think Leatu is that guy?
I think there's probably 4 of them that would step in and start between Leatu versus Turner and Chop Robinson.
Chop those two.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, I think any 4 of those guys could come in, but really, you're going to know the answer to that in less than 2 weeks because the floodgates open on Monday the 11th when you can start negotiating with the free agents. If you go back to last year, first deal was made, and that was with Edwards less than 30 minutes into the negotiation period. It opens at 11 o'clock Chicago time, and before 11:30 they had a deal. So, which means they had a deal the day before, but
right,
we don't talk about that. And then it was like 3 hours later that they got the guy from the Bills. So, I would think you're going to know the answer on the edge equation real quick on Monday the 11th.
Yeah, I think that's going to be literally probably the first answer that we get outside of this whole.
I think center's going to be the first one done. Tell you the truth.
Got to get that center. Oh, that's true. That's true.
Well, I just talking, and part of it has been talking with Olin, and my belief is you got a real young offensive line,
right? Okay,
so and there's no real veteran in there except Davis. And Davis is still relatively new because of all the personal issues he was going through last year. So, that's going to be behind him. But Tev, it's only his 3rd year as a guard, 3rd season as a guard, and he's been, hot and cold as far as the injuries. And you've got young tackles. You got to have a veteran in the middle to direct traffic. And if you got a veteran line and a veteran quarterback, you can have a rookie center in there, and it's not going to be a problem. But if you're going to have a young quarterback, and if Justin's here, he's still a young quarterback. And if it's a rookie, he's obviously a young quarterback. With a young line, I think you got to go out and get a vet.
What about a bridge? Yeah, bridge center.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they call it a bridge. I mean, there's some guys out there that are pretty good players. I don't have the list in front of me, but there's Brewer who's Tennessee. Now, his coach last year is the assistant offensive line coach here now. So there's a connection there. There's the guy from Seattle. He was the center for Seattle last year. Started the whole – I think he's got 35 or 39 starts over the last 3 years. Was with Detroit before that. But he played for Waldron last year. There's the guy, he's going to demand some money, the guy at Denver. So there's guys out there, and they're ready to step in and play, and it's going to be a huge upgrade over what we've seen the last couple of years.
Hey, Greg, this is Jordan. Pleasure again having you on the show. Got a question for you. So going back into the draft with the edge rushers, you mentioned Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, Chop Robinson, Leatu. But I always love asking about the sleepers. Do you see anybody that's specifically standing out to you, whether the numbers showed it, the measurables, whatever? Do you think there's a sleeper that could rise in the draft boards that can kind of get into that tier of those 4 guys that you mentioned already?
I don't have them up with those first 4 guys, but I think that I just got to look down here at my list. But Xavier Thomas from Clemson is pretty good. The guy that kind of jumped that I didn't know about from the Southland Conference, and He was actually the defensive player of the year. He tore it up today athletically, but I haven't done anything on him, so I got to do something. His name is Jalix Hunt from Houston Baptist.
Oh yeah, we saw him.
Weird name. Yeah.
We literally were. We kind of did the same type of
like,
thing.
Who he?
Yeah,
Alex.
He really moving. He's really.
Yeah. I mean, and when you look at the whole workout, I mean, he jumped out of the building. He had really superb numbers. So you got to go back and look at the guy.
Yeah.
He's just too damn athletic not to.
Yeah, that's always the interesting thing about the combine. It's you really. Like, if you're a good player, you almost can't play yourself out of where people believe you are based on the 3 to 4 years of tape that you have. But if you're that guy that like nobody's seen and you're at the combine, it's like, wait a minute, who's this dude? He just jumped off the page at us. What did he just run? How much did he move? Like, I thought that there was a couple of those guys in there. The one thing that we do want to get to today, though, that we saw on your timeline that you ended up tweeting out, and I thought it was a very interesting, interesting twist to the whole quarterback conversation. By the way, hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Saw you tweet yesterday. What I keep hearing now is that people will be partially right and partially wrong on the quarterback situation. Who knows what's true? But what I've been told is that the Bears are looking to trade both the number 1 and Justin Fields and draft one of the other QBs after the trade down. This is interesting because on this show we have a we have a saying. It literally just goes or right, because that's the other scenario that none of us were expecting. So Greg, can you go a little bit more in depth on that as you set the world on fire? What's going on with that?
I don't know if I set the world on fire. The phones. I'm on the phone all day this time of the year, and there's a lot of people that want to give me a hard time on Twitter, which is fine. They can take every shot they want. But
your success
I've been doing this for 40 years. I know what I'm talking about. So
I like that.
And I got connections up the yin yang. I mean, there's a dozen GMs I can pick up the phone and talk to, and a bunch of other guys in decision-making roles. So I've got a lot of friends in the league and other people with connections. I was talking to one guy who I guess indirectly is involved in the league. He's not an agent, he's not a media guy, but he's very well connected, and I just don't want to say who he is. And generally he's got excellent information. So in the course of the conversation I had with him, the first one was Monday, and then there was another one the next day. Monday, he says that deal, they're going to trade number 1 before the combine's out. And it's going to Washington. And I said, no, I can believe that. And he said it's going to be, pretty much the same with as Peter King had, that, at least one number 2, a flip of the ones, and a 1 next year. This guy said both of Washington's number 2s. And I said, I can't see that happening before, within the next week. Right. I said, if it happens at all, I just can't see it happening. He goes, there's other teams that want to do something. And this was brought up today, I think on the NFL Network. Everybody's waiting for Chicago to do something one way or the other. And they, it's like, they can't make their move until the Bears make their move. And so it's, that's an interesting, a scenario. Hey, look, who knows what's true? Right. But I know from, I've been in these positions where you're sitting and you want to, you're playing poker. And you got to have the good bluff face when you're playing this game. And so it's not what you're saying. It's you better read between the lines. Yeah. Because it's more about, okay, if like Poles talks about openly, well, I want to do things right by Justin. Well, of course he's going to say that, because if you want to get something big from Washington, you got to make it look like you're going to take Caleb no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're moving. So if Washington really wants him, and from what I understand, they really want him, so you got to pay. And from what I've been told, they know they got to pay. Will the deal be made? Who the hell knows? But then the other part that I was told the next day is that, and again, same person, is that there is scenarios, he goes, that I'm hearing where they actually do both. And trade Justin and trade number one and still take a quarterback after they trade down.
Yeah.
And, people have said, within the business, it's not a lock with Caleb. Caleb's, it's not about his talent. It's about everything else. It's the intangibles. And I'm not going to get into a lot of that stuff right now. If a trade is made, I'll say some of the information I got, but I got a ton. And it doesn't, knowing what polls and what Flus say, like Flus said, they asked Flus on Monday, what are you looking for in a quarterback? The first thing he said was leadership.
Yeah.
Very first word. Well, that's the one thing that Caleb Williams doesn't have. That's like the worst part of him. And it's, he's more of a follower than a leader. And so,
no punches.
And it's just a lot of little things that you say, is he going to be able to handle it? And then you listen to, again, little things that Ryan says. Tough job play quarterback in this city. We all know that.
Oh, yeah.
Because they'll line you up. I mean, it's the St. Valentine's Massacre every week. So, if you're not playing great, they're going to line you up against the wall and blow you away. So you got to be thick-skinned. Okay, now we got a guy that had a tough loss and cries on mama's lap for the next 10 minutes in front of a national audience. Is that a thick-skinned guy? Is that a guy that can handle adversity in the NFL? And don't forget, he's already a multimillionaire.
Right.
He's going to take a pay cut on a rookie contract.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see what Caleb ends up doing in it, and if Ryan gleans from his interviews. I believe they're supposed to be interviewing tonight. Kid, you had
no, they interviewed
or last night.
Caleb
last night. Yeah, last night.
Kid, and you'll never know what happened in that interview.
Greg P. Kid here. Listen, thanks for coming by. You are someone who I admire. You come in unbrazen, wanting all the smoke, and you've done a nice job really riling up the city over the last couple of weeks. One thing in particular is I've listened to a lot of your stuff. You did mention your take on it. You didn't say Caleb wasn't going to be a good bad pro. You just said that he wasn't someone you would take number one, and even entertain the idea of not picking up Justin's fifth-year option, but making him earn it. With this new information you've kind of shared with us and things of that nature, who would you, if you had the opportunity, who would you take? Just for our audience, I've kind of heard your take on it. Who would you take? And then ultimately, how would you want that to play out? If it's
totally done between the two, one name might surprise you. There's a lot of people within the league that love this guy. He hasn't turned on the analysts yet. And one is the local kid, JJ McCarthy. And the other is Daniels from LSU. And, JJ, I got a good friend who is a former coordinator in the league and, very, very highly regarded guy. He said he thinks the best quarterback in this class is JJ. So I respect his opinion. He goes, the problem with JJ is, and this is exactly the way he said it. Problem with JJ is he had an offensive coordinator who called plays like an offensive lineman. And he goes, if he had somebody who knew how to call plays, that guy lighted up. And that's a quote. And, you can't downplay or criticize a guy for the offense he was in because that's not his fault.
Right.
But he ran that Michigan offense superbly, won a national championship with him, Big Ten championship last year. I think he's lost one game in the last 2 years. The guy's a player. And let me just finish.
Go ahead.
He what people say about it, I don't know the kid, but he is coming on my show. I got his agent to commit to that after the Michigan Pro Day, which is going to be like around the 20th or 21st.
Okay.
But he's what everybody says is he's going to blow coaches away this week with his intellect. And they get him on the board and he starts diagramming and stuff. And his football knowledge and his ability to understand and to comprehend things is just going to blow people away.
It's going to be interesting because the thing I've said about J.J. McCarthy is he wasn't called upon to do a ton, but when his name was called, he always produced. Very rarely did we see those plays where it was like, oh, well, J.J. didn't live up to the moment right then. So he's somebody who we've all said on the show that we feel that Harbaugh is going to walk in the room and be like, listen, I love this Justin Herbert guy, but let me try to sell you on J.J. McCarthy.
You know what? He's the head coach. You don't have to, and he was hired before the GM. You don't have to sell anybody.
He's not selling nothing. It's all about what he wants to do.
That's right.
Greg, we appreciate you coming on the show. We appreciate you tuning in and showing love with us. Let the people know where they can find you, and you've let them know a little bit of what you got coming up, but let them know what's coming next for you.
Well, we got some interesting shows coming up. Future guest lineup. Peter King's coming on in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice.
I wanted to get Peter. I've known Peter since Peter was a beat writer for the Giants when I was working for the Giants. This goes back into the mid-'80s. He worked for Newsday. So I've known him a long, long time. And he's coming on in 2 weeks. He said next week he's going to be out in Seattle visiting his daughter. So he'd do it in 2 weeks. After the combine, we've got Daniel Jeremiah on, who's been a longtime friend, and Dane Brugler from The Athletic. We got JJ, as I said, coming on sometime after the Michigan Pro Day. So that's what I've got lined up so far. And, I don't want to go out too far, but because you got to do some stuff just in preparation for the draft and free agency and all that.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, Greg. Friend of the show. Welcome anytime. And we hope to have you back on here soon. Maybe after the combine breaks down, we can get some more of that insight on what you saw from them.
Sounds good, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Have a good one, man. Appreciate you.
Take care,
Thanks,
Greg.
Greg. Appreciate you.
Greg Gabriel, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely amazing guest. Love having Greg on. Love everything. Oh, we clapping up. We clapping up. Clap it up for Greg. Clap it up for Greg. Clap it up for Greg. All right, clap it up. Clap it up. Clap it up. Clap it up. Well, listen, we're just clapping it up for you getting here. That's what we clapping up for.
Hey, listen, you don't know. 18. No, I broke like 10 laws. Almost hit an old lady. I mean, I had to get here.
Over 100 in the chat, by the way.
Over 100 in the chat. Appreciate your opportunity. We didn't want to do the over 100 just in case. That's startling.
Yeah, we don't
startling.
What did he sell us on?
JJ McCarthy.
Oh boy.
Hey, listen. I'm telling y'all, JJ's gonna be a dog because the thing about JJ is he's gonna fall to a team
like the Bears.
He's gonna fall to 9. No. We're taking Marvin Harrison at 2 and JJ
at 9. Hold on now. You can sell me on that proposition, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do that.
Based on what they're saying.
Hey, listen, you can sell me on that.
No, they're gonna trade down twice.
Hey.
From 1 to 2 to whatever.
No, they're not. Ringo,
he's a gamer.
Ringo, is he making it past San Diego? Is he making it past the Chargers?
He ain't making it past.
He ain't making it past.
That's right. There's 6, right? The Chargers
5.
Chargers are 5.
New York is 6.
New York is 6. Yeah, he ain't making it past the Chargers.
No. He might not bet. New York might take.
No, Ringo gonna get all tingly, waiting for JJ McCarthy to get drafted at 6,
bro.
And that mug Harbaugh gonna be like, hey,
let me get that.
Hey, JJ over here, man.
Hey, just like the actual draft with Justin.
Wait. What contract is Herbert on right now?
A lot.
I'm not.
He's on the. I'm just saying, is he already signed? He's already got his contract.
Yeah, a lot.
When did he come out? A couple years ago?
Hey, you know what Harbaugh finna do? Hey, Chicago, come out to play. Yay. I got this lightly used quarterback for you. Oh man. Hey, we appreciate all of you guys in the chat for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let's keep this show moving right along, man. Loved having Greg Gabriel on. Greg actually reached out to me. We've had Greg on over on the Bears pod a couple of times, and he's been so insightful. And he literally was like, I love how you and your team talk. Want to come over there and rock with y'all. So it was awesome to hear from Greg today. And I think we got some interesting insight as well, especially going into the next topic with talking about Dan Orlovsky, right? And what he had to say today about the Chicago Bears should take Jayden Daniels first overall.
Oh, where's my credit scene at? I forgot to get the credits.
Right. We need to add that credit scene.
Credit scene.
Just the Curb from Enthusiasm credit scene.
Yeah, I'm working on that next.
Introduce it because I don't think it's as bad as it takes.
No, it's a bad take because nobody's taking Jayden Daniels first overall. Like if you trade with Washington, who they take?
No, they're taking Caleb.
So if I trade with New England, who they taking?
Taking Caleb.
No, they may trade Daniels.
No, they're taking Daniels.
You say if you trade with
no.
New England
If I trade with from 1 to 2 with Washington, they taking Caleb. If I trade from 2 to 3,
Daniels taking Drake.
I would think Drake.
They're not, bro. They're gonna take Jayden Daniels.
Coming off.
They have already said
they're 3.
They're getting.
Well, the point is he's not going to go number 1. Point is he's not going number 1.
He's not going number 1.
And that's
he's not going number 1.
Greg is he actually says that off. He says he's not down on Caleb, but he says that he's going to be a good pro. He doesn't have the leadership qualities. He's big on that, as you all heard.
He said that a couple times.
But he also said that this is not the first time I heard him say it, that Daniels is climbing them ranks.
But you can't climb much higher.
Yeah, I mean,
there's not much room left to go.
Top 3 to being number 2 definitively in many people's books.
I mean, that was already gonna happen though. Ain't nobody talking about Drake May. Nobody's nah.
You really
don't know Drake. Hey, you can't sell us on that.
But you know what, Dan Orlovsky has been talking to that. He's been kind of standing on business with Jayden for a minute because I remember I saw that little bit of a video earlier, and I think Greeny had showed a text, I think from past last October, where he actually mentioned them watching a game with Jayden and that he was impressive to the point where he liked him more than Caleb. So, at least he's consistent with his review. I don't see Jayden going that high. Like you said, he's already risen enough because he won Heisman this year. So I'd see him challenging Drake for the second quarterback take.
I think that, I mean, when you listen to the take, I mean, he's not wrong. Jayden does absolutely great against man. He definitely throws a better ball.
Yeah.
And it's basically like he was saying, right? All of these quarterbacks. Well, just those 2 quarterbacks alone. You talk about the explosive plays and the stuff that they can do outside of the pocket that the coaches don't call for. It's pretty much a toss-up. So it's basically like Greg was saying. You really don't know until you know.
I think that's the point, though, right? He was very poignant in saying that he's elite at putting the ball out there versus man. So was Mitch. So is Justin. When you play man, that means one-on-one. That means if my receiver beats you, I just have to put the ball in the right place.
No, I'm not discrediting that. The only issue with Mitch though was that he was a project that they wanted him to sit.
Oh, Mitch dominated in man though.
But the point was that there was talent that they saw in him, but because he only had 18 starts, period. That he was not supposed to play, so they did not.
Has nothing to do with the point I'm making.
Yes, it does.
Has nothing to do with the point I'm making.
The whole point is that because they saw something in him that he was not able to bring out and develop even more.
To accentuate though what you were saying, I got you.
It has nothing to do with the point I'm making. I was saying that Mitch dominated versus man. It has nothing to do with his development and whether he was underdeveloped or not. When Detroit played man to man, cooked him every time. I think he's 6-0 versus Detroit. And his time here in Chicago, that 6 touchdown game. What was Tampa Bay doing?
He killed,
man to man, right? That's what I'm saying.
So he had abilities.
No, but what I'm saying is it's a very specific thing to say when you talk about Jayden Daniels. When you go, he dominated versus man. Okay, what did he do versus zone?
You talking about Caleb or Jayden?
I'm talking about Jayden because that's what they said about Jayden.
Yeah.
That's what he said today about Jayden. And it's not the slight Jayden. I think Jayden Jayden Daniels is a good player. I think he's going to be one of the better prospects in this draft. I do think he's better than Drake May. I think some people see Drake May as the pocket passer. And so that may be why he ends up going to either Washington and or New England, or maybe falling to the Giants. I think that people are going to feel more comfortable with what Drake May is.
We just got to get somebody in there.
I mean, listen, y'all just throwing bodies back there at this point because your show ain't got the offensive line.
We got to get somebody in there.
It's a take, and I forget who had it. One of his mainstream shows, and it was only one individual that actually voiced it. Jayden was one of the few QBs that actually showed you within structure and outside of structure what he can do. You saw Caleb most of the time off script. And it's like, hey, that's good, but can you play within the system well? Everything they saw with Caleb.
I think Dan Orlovsky mentioned that. He mentioned pocket piece, PACE, pocket piece, where he looked way better with nothing like crumbling down outside of what Caleb gives you. That we went back to what we talked about the other day about the quarterbacks who are artists versus the quarterbacks that are surgeons. Your artists do the off script plays and that can paint outside the lines, but then your surgeons are the ones that are very good at just doing the things like the on schedule throws, the accuracy, playing within the pocket. Those are the type of things that you might see from Jayden.
The thing that I want to say about that though is like kind of what Joel and even to that point Mel Kiper was saying, like it's going to be if the Bears get Caleb or whoever they take, it's going to be on the Bears at that point to continue to develop him. Because listen, if he's off script and I'm throwing the 3 seasons he's been there, I'm throwing 31 touchdowns and 4 picks. Yeah. When I'm off script, imagine what I can do if you continue to develop me in the pocket. Yeah. So it's just one of those things where it's like you have to go in and make sure that this is the guy that you want to take, and notice you got the guys in place to build them up. And I think that the Bears do actually have the guys in place to build them up. Now it's just on pose as he was talking about, hey, what type of character are you bringing? Because I am legitimately looking at the person at this point.
Greg is an interesting dude though, because I have to say, even the last piece I like listened to and even read on him. He actually had a small excerpt where he was really big even on Tyson Bagent. He was really big on Tyson Bagent. And I was like, what? I really wanted to ask him. Next time we get him, I have to ask him, like, what the heck he's like, he's a really good quarterback with a strong arm. Most people say
if Joe don't take 17 questions next time, we'll be perfect with that. Joe was game banging the interview.
Bro.
Joe,
I was feeling bad for
your question,
JC.
I was like, me, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. My fault.
Joe was like, don't be mad at me. I can't prepare.
I'm sorry. I was having an active conversation with you.
No, it was active. It was active.
And you know what's funny? I felt bad. After I was like, dang, did I dominate? I look back like, Jordan, did you have a question? I'm sorry, man. I was in the zone, man.
This was Singletary all over again.
Hey,
Singletary all over again.
The one thing we know about Joe, dog,
he's gonna feel some dead space.
The one thing we know about Joe is Joe, if you get anybody from the Bears from 2000 well, no, from 06 all the way back to 1983.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. You're not getting in on that conversation.
The minute he said Tommy Harris, I was like, yeah, wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Well, that's the one question I wanted to ask him. But all I asked him was, did he think there was anybody?
Just go back and listen.
Yeah. I was trying. No, because I said,
it's not bad. It was conversation.
No, what I asked, but I was asking specifically, like, what did they see in terms of mirroring with the Lovey team versus the current team? Where the defensive ends that actually could start right now? Like he's saying there's 4 of them. That was my thing.
Well, yeah, the top 4.
Hey, Ringo. Baki said Joe was out there doing what?
Getting active. Like, hey, bro, I'm sitting back like, man, bro, we only finna get one question. Was that question tonight?
I got 7.
What's that? So did I have that many? How many did I have?
Hey, you had a lot of follows. That's all it was.
They were good questions, though. No,
you had a lot of
I ain't hating on the question.
I offer you a truce, Breeze Nation. The ickiest of the icky.
Hey, man. Listen, that's about all the time I got for Jayden Daniels going number 1 overall. I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. I have nothing else on that. We do want to tell you guys though about our partners over at Underdog Fantasy. Underdog, where you can go there and make a lot of money. Make a lot of money. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some of this NBA action. It's Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. All you got to do is just pick higher or lower than your favorite or least favorite. There's some trash mugs in the NBA right now. Least favorite players, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Underdog keeps it super simple with their easy-to-use website and mobile apps. All you have to do is pick between 2 and 5 players to fill out your pick'em entry, and you get every pick right, and you could take home some cold, hard cash. I mean, literally, let's pull up one of the ones that we had here. Hold on, because Underdog was kind enough to front the money. I'm just playing.
This guy.
Who's joking? No, just had to give it a second to load up here. And foul. Here we go. Yesterday, the Breeze crew was able to go Zion Williamson higher than 4.5 points in the first quarter. Damian Lillard higher than 2 assists in the first quarter, and Colin Sexton higher than 18.5 points. Colin Sexton low-key trying to prove me right in the long run on that whole Donovan Mitchell take. I'm playing a long game here. It's not really working out. But all you got to do is go in there and download and use the code TWCB and get your first deposit doubled up by $500. They even allow you a little bit of wiggle room with their Pick'em insurance, which gives you a little bit of little extra. I don't really trust this pick. Man, I don't know, man. Giannis 25 going over 28 points, but he's playing Charlotte. He's probably not going to play the fourth quarter. If you're not confident in your entry, they give you the Pick'em insurance. Make sure to tune in with us over at Underdog Fantasy and use the promo code TWCB. We appreciate you guys for showing love. All right, let's finish it out here, boys.
JJ
McCarthy.
I do have to ask, seriously, what if that's really what's going to happen? We never even envisioned. What if we really end up with JJ McCarthy?
So this is the thing, and it's like I was telling Pat. I'm not.
You're not trading. You're not trading Justin. I'll tell you that much. You get to let him sit.
No, yeah, I'm not mad at the JJ pick. I'm not mad at the JJ pick. Is he gets in some situations where he gets himself in trouble by forcing things that are not there, but he definitely has the ability to be better than to be better than he was.
You're not wrong, but let's be real. He's forcing things when he doesn't have to, right? Because the times when they're calling on JJ is like, all right, JJ, we're in a 3rd and 16 right now. We need you to figure something out here. And as Jason McKee has once said many times to me, there is no play call for 3rd and 16.
Oh, yeah, no play call.
There's no play call for 3rd and more than 15. You have no play. You got plays that you just hope work. Any play past that, screen pass. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, so I think JJ gets put in a lot of situations at Michigan where he's trying to force something to happen because it's kind of like what Justin went through here with the Bears, right? It's like you got to play hero ball now.
Yeah,
I know you gave us a 28-point lead, but guess what? We blew that lead. So now you got to go out there. You gotta try and find a way to win this game, or it's all on you.
It's all your fault.
And that's when you pull him to the side. Hey, listen. So we need you to rescue us. Hey, Coach, we had a 28-point lead. I know that. That's over with. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
That was hours ago. That was minutes ago.
We lost that.
Flus looking at Justin like, stop living in the past. We're in the here and now. The lead is gone.
That makes me think of that Keyshawn story where he talked about how he was. They had a 20-something-point lead against Indiana. He was getting taped in the back. He thought the game was over. All of a sudden, somebody come running back. Coach says, suit up. He was like, the game is over. What's he talking about? He goes in and looks at it. It's 4 minutes left, but it's like it's almost a tie game. He was like, I'm fully suited. He was in street clothes. He had hung it up. I was like, wow. Peyton Manning came back and cooked them.
That
boys.
level of confidence is crazy, though. Let's be real. That level of I did enough.
When you watch the clip, because it was at like a somewhat they thought he was injured.
Yeah.
If you watch the clip, he jogging off, smiling. He really think they got the game.
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
Hearing him tell it is one thing, but you'd be like, all right, they embellish it a little bit.
Yeah.
No, he really jogged off that joint thinking, oh, we got this. I'm about to go in and change. And you could see the frustration on the team. I was like, yo, that's crazy. Peyton cooked them boys. That's what Justin did half the season. I got to give Justin that. It was like, hey, we're beating Denver. No, we're not.
No, we're not. No. I don't know what you thought that. I don't know why you thought that was going down.
Yeah.
Hey man, here's something that I found very interesting, and I want to finish the show off on this because the Chicago Bears got graded from the NFLPA. So this is, I believe, it is between 1,300 players in the league.
Yes, sir. I saw the Chiefs one. Sir. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Hey, listen, it's some bad ones out there, dog.
Ooh,
it's some bad ones out there, but the Chicago Bears surprisingly are one of the good teams. But I also don't understand, like, they got like a grading system, but also a ranking system. And so it's kind of interesting. The one thing that I found interesting was at head coach, they give Coach Flus a B. That's 25th in the NFL out of 32, though. And when it talked about him, it said 81% of the players feel that head coach Matt Eberflus is efficient with their time. Players feel that head coach Matt Eberflus is somewhat willing to listen to the locker room. I thought it was interesting that Flus was getting like a B on that, because how's that 25th?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I'm trying to figure out the grading system.
That's an F.
I mean,
that's a D. You just showed
unless
up.
everybody's an A.
So,
so 24 teams in the NFL love their head coach.
Yeah.
Or 25 teams in the NFL love their head coach.
Or at least they're loyal. They're not going to talk crazy to him.
Let's think about it. How many coaches got fired?
Usually about 4 or 5.
You disrespect me.
So I guess that does check out. I guess in theory that does check out. The one thing that I did love about the Bears grading system on this was outside of head coach, strength coaches, weight room, training staff, training room, all B's and above. And as far as weight room, as far as training room, as far as locker room, and they're talking about the actual locker room, not the environment. All top 10, 6th, and 4th for the locker room. And it really speaks to how far the Bears have come, as far as not only do we need to focus on these dudes getting stronger, but we also need to make sure that we're focusing on them staying healthy, right? Like you need your training staff and stuff like that so that they can stay healthy. Now, here's the one that pissed me off.
Here we go. I already know where we're going. Here we go.
Nutritionist and dietitian, I can deal with being a C+. They're 24th in the NFL in that. How are we 21st in the NFL in food and cafeteria? We're in Chicago. It's literally Lake Forest. There's restaurants left and right. How do we have the worst food? Some of the worst food in the NFL, bro.
Square pizzas and sloppy Joe in that cafeteria.
If I'm not mistaken, somebody on the team has his own food truck.
Oh yeah,
DeMarcus Walker
got a chicken truck.
Yes, bro. Like what?
That must not go into the grading system. Then,
if I'm not mistaken, they don't pay. They didn't provide them all 3 meals and something like that.
What you mean? It's a cafeteria in there.
No. Some teams don't. Some teams do not provide.
Atlanta.
I think the Bengals still practice outside.
Hey,
no, they're inside now.
Atlanta got straight F's on their report.
I mean, Kansas City got a horrible grade system.
Kansas City has stools full instead of chairs up to last year.
They still win championships.
So they didn't invest none of that money back to the
player. Listen, the outlier.
No, you know what it is? The Bears got it too soft. That's why we can't develop a quarterback. Meanwhile, Kansas City is is out here hard nosed and they winning the championships every other year. Yeah, I mean, like,
hey, I don't know, man. Hey, real quick, Pat, ask that question. What was that about? What's your boy? What did he say about the Jayden? Who was that brought up the? Who was the quarterback?
McCarthy.
Who brought that up?
Dan Orlovsky?
Yeah, Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah,
I think I got it. Here we go. all the music didn't come through. Dang, hold on, I got it. Keep going.
I got it.
Take 2.
I got it.
You just got literally just credits rolling up. Good night, everybody.
This is why we call him Super Producer Joe. He just made that just now.
Next boring topic.
That is good. That is epic.
We just
Hey man, I'm not gonna.
Everything is Joe.
Hey, it's all Joe.
I ran out of stuff. It was just
literally is everything.
No, you guys in the beginning. It was like
I absolutely love it.
Next
No.
boring topic. Next.
I was just sitting there. I was confused at how the Bears had one of the worst facilities as far as food, dog. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, wait. Now I will say this: I saw Braxton Jones leave there one day, and he had went in, and I just assumed he was eating like a 24-year-old.
It must have been trash food,
bro. No, he came out with like I don't know what it was, but it was wrapped like the high school chicken sandwich. You know, the one that you put mayo and barbecue sauce on this busted.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? But I think it was the high school chicken sandwich, is what I'm saying. They're a professional organization.
I told you, man.
I don't think it was Chick-fil-A, bro. I thought he was just getting that like he was eating like a kid. But he came out with like a tray. It had the little chicken sandwich. He had like a twisted tea on that. Not twisted tea. That's the alcohol.
No. They had Shasta. They got
Shasta, baby. Shasta, baby. Don't be mad at Shasta.
Who are my people out there? They know about that Shasta,
bro.
That's where it went.
Hey,
that contract went over there.
I got Mondo's over there.
That man came out.
Tell me they got the box of food from school.
Bro,
you got the chicken sandwich, the juice, the fruit cup.
Yeah. I think
that fruit cup hitting.
Hey, that fruit cup was, but it depended on what
got
fruit
the cherry
cup
in
was.
it.
Cup hit.
It depended on which fruit cup it was. When they did the pears one, I was pissed.
The chocolate milk.
The pears was trash.
Chocolate milk.
Oh, come on now.
The pears was trash, bro.
Pears was good with the
Stop
peaches
it,
and the
Stop
cherry.
it.
Come on, man.
Shout out to all the
I grew up on the
pears.
south side. I was thankful for anything.
Man out here. The best. Hey, listen.
You actually ate that?
The word, bro. The
Yeah, I ain't
pears
gonna
cup
lie.
is crazy.
What?
Now you know what? Here's the thing. There was always one dude that was slamming the pears cups, and he had like 10 of them at the table. That was Jordan.
That was me.
That was Jordan.
me.
That was
Hey,
Jordan. Everybody
I
was
was
giving up
thankful.
that
Hey, you
pears
drank
cup.
the
very
syrup first
thankful.
too, didn't you?
And I went to Kenwood. We had places all over the place.
You drank
I had
the
no
syrup
money,
first,
so I
didn't
was
you?
thankful I had my pears.
You drink
the
the
pear
what?
juice and all that.
It came with syrup.
Hey, everybody good night. All right.
Hey, no, I'll tell you what, Kenwood had the worst nachos of any school I've ever
That's a
been
fact.
to.
That's a
Them
fact.
nachos was
That
horrible.
is a fact.
Bro.
That cheese got cold quicker than the winter in Chicago.
Hey, that mystery meat they had with it too, that was prison food. I don't care what nobody
Oh,
said.
my
Paying $2.50 for them bad nachos. Man, that's PTSD right there. Come on with it.
Bro, hey, listen, I didn't have that experience. We had all the. You know what was the worst thing? We lost the good pizza. We didn't get the square pizza in high school. They started giving us the triangles, bro. I don't know what was at the end of them triangles, bro. That crust was bogus.
Well, we had pizza on Tuesday.
Hey, Jay Grizz,
Yeah,
I'm going with
yeah.
Kenwood all day. Come on now.
Yeah, that's
Three South Stars. Right
That
there.
sounds
Plenty
like
of them.
Oh, okay.
that sounds like a suburban school.
Yeah, it sounds like a
Yeah,
one
yeah, it
Just
sounds
saying.
I'm sorry.
You guys didn't have hot chocolate? Did you guys have hot chocolate?
No.
Yeah,
Joe, I
No,
had
no,
that. I had that.
You
It
guys
had
didn't have
Swiss
that?
Miss.
I'm sorry, guys.
You having way too much fun, dog.
Hey, you
gonna
will
use
never
that.
get rid of this guy.
Oh my God! Because I said we should have that
Hey,
for the
yeah.
bogus topics, but that's so funny.
Bro, it's the boom, 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 boom.
I just looked up some music. What I wanted was the dun, 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 dun. That's what I was looking for.
We'll be right back.
Yeah, I wanted to we'll be right back music.
And we probably finna get copyright claims on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll be- no, less than 10 seconds. Only like 5 or 3.
But you played it several times.
Yeah, they got to be. It's only 3 seconds.
Yeah, we'll
All
see
right,
what it is.
we'll
We'll
see.
see. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. As you can see, we having fun. Oh, King Booker World bringing it back. He said that super donut, though. Bro, the super donut was crazy,
The
dog.
super
we can all
donut was
agree on that.
The super donut
Yes.
was crazy, bro. Hold
Microwave,
on.
yes, with the milk. Yeah.
We used
Hold
to buy
on.
them things stale.
Before we get
What?
about it, but that's crazy. Before we, I don't know what it. No, that was a solo. That was a solo endeavor.
Hey,
there,
no,
my
they
boy.
used to be frozen. They used to
Nah,
freeze. It
that's
used to be
crazy.
hard. You have to put them in the microwave. That's it.
Hey.
Yeah, bye.
Put 'em in the microwave.
Now,
It's a joke.
You put 'em in the- Nah,
He about
Hey,
to get
bro.
serious.
no,
Hold up.
this a tough. It shouldn't be good. I understand it, and it's not gonna sound good when I say this.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
But it's
Oh,
what
wait,
make
It's
it.
Thursday.
It's
Are we
what
getting the
make it.
flag?
Oh,
the-
no. Here we go.
It's
Get
what
the
make
flag
it a
ready.
super donut. Did y'all put the slice of cheese on top?
Yep, here we go. There we go. Hey, yours too.
Everybody get out of here.
Hey, listen. Hey, thank you for tuning in to
Designer
the
for
Breeze.
P-Kid for
I
the show.
tell y'all,
Have a good show.
On behalf
know
of
it shouldn't
everybody
be
else.
right.
It don't even have to be paused.
Super producer Joe Holt. My man JC.
wait.
Step out and God. We don't know who this guy is. Who are you, kind
No, listen.
Cheese.
Listen,
Cheese.
listen.
No,
And you talking about my pears?
no.
You put
No.
you put that on Apple Pie
No,
too,
hey, bro.
No.
Hey,
It's
hey,
just on the super donut.
hey, we love you. We just want you to know that's nasty work. That's nasty
Hey,
work.
Pat, get some help.
Bro,
Get some help.
Stop it. Get some help.
That's
King,
nasty.
King Booker World said, cheese, boo that man.
When you see him, boom.
Listen. There's a group of people out there to do it. We probably was all poor together. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Just Chicago Sports Daily on this channel.
We need to actually like drag the sound out and just let it go.
No, I love it that it's so short. Y'all
I hope we have more bad topics.
I would have kept that to myself.
For the pettiest man alive, Mr. P Kid, the super producer Joe, and of course Jordan JC and Stefan Nadine. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Hey, I will find my people. Y'all not in this chat. So clearly.
They're not on your team.
You're not in this chat.
I'm not on your team.
Y'all stay
whole
safe out
audience
there,
is
man.
saying no.
Hey, everybody said no. I don't know why. It was good to me.